Welcome back to the vlog. Today's video is about health and safety and the design of station platforms. But first, a history lesson. We begin the episode with a short history lesson about a terrible accident which took place in Wellingborough in 1898. The nature of the accident is pertinent to today's topic and provides some context for my recent efforts with the Bexhill West project. Shortly after 8 o'clock in the morning on the 3rd of September 1898, postman Thomas Smith arrived at Wellingborough Station on the Midland Railway. He had a large trolley loaded with parcels and was negotiating it down the platform. Whilst doing so, 4 boys, aged between 10 and 13, began helping Smith by pushing the trolley from behind. In order that he could reach the platform and have the parcels in position to be transferred into the guard's van of the next stopping train, Smith had to unlock an iron gate which gave access to the platform. Having pulled the trolley onto the platform, Smith turned his back on the trolley, presumably to lock the gate, and the boys began playing on it. The exact cause of what happened next is unknown. However, the trolley rolled across the platform, which had a significant slope towards the rails, and tumbled across the tracks. Upon seeing the disaster, Smith and his foreman Richardson attempted to remove the trolley, but at 6 feet long and of heavy iron construction, it proved too heavy to lift. They attempted to drag it across into the 6 foot, but alas, at 4.5 hundredweight, it was just too heavy for them to shift. Others attempted to warn an oncoming express train which was headed down the line, but to no avail, and at 8:22 the express train struck the mail trolley. Initially, only the front bogie was derailed and the driving wheels stayed on the track, the train continuing for a further 150 yards before becoming fully derailed at the next crossing. The train had been travelling at 60 miles per hour and the wreckage was extensive. 5 passengers, the driver and fireman, were sadly killed, and a further 60 passengers and railway staff were injured, some severely. During the investigation which followed, Smith would suggest that he thought the boys may have tampered with the trolley. However, there was no evidence that this was the case. As Postman Smith was an employee of the Royal Mail and was not required to deliver the mail to the platform, he'd only done so as a courtesy to the railway staff. The Midland Railway accepted liability for the accident. A contributing factor to this terrible accident was that the platform sloped significantly towards the rails. The outcome of the investigation was that all railway platform surfaces were required to either be perfectly level or, where possible, slope away from the tracks, such that runaway trolleys and the like would always roll away from danger. So what does this mean for my own project? Well, since I started building the new station at Bexhill in miniature, there's been an influx of handsome Edwardian couples into the area. Given that the endless summers and refreshing sea breeze is so conducive to raising a family, I thought therefore we might expect to see several perambulators in the coming months. And so it seemed prudent to consider the platform structure and to see if any lessons had been learnt from the terrible Wellingborough disaster. Now, I wasn't sure, but when I looked at this old photo, it seemed clear to me that there was a definite slope towards the middle of the platform. But wanting to be certain, I double-checked with the spirit level. Convinced that there was indeed a slope, albeit slight, I set about designing my platform. And here we have my model for the platform at Bexhill West, albeit in 3D form on the computer screen. Ignore, if you will, for the moment, the station canopy. We'll come to that another time. But the platform itself is of a fairly simple construction, and if we look closely, we can see there is a definite slope from the outer edge of the platform into the centre, so hopefully runaway trolleys and prams will be quite safe. Underneath, the structure is a very simple box frame style construction, and I've included holes through the cross members so that wiring for station lights and things like that can be incorporated. If you have a look, these cross supports also have slots cut into them, and they're so that the station canopy posts or pillars can be firmly fixed into those to hopefully make the structure rigid. I've also incorporated some corbelling into the brickwork. This rendering of the brickwork here is overscale, but don't worry about that. So we can see we've got a reasonable corbelled edge to the platform. Well, I hope you found that enjoyable. It was certainly fun designing these and putting them together. Of course, this isn't the end of the story, because although this platform was straight for much of its length, certainly the area covered by the canopy, it then continued on and developed a curve, and that part of the platform was gravel covered, and we'll cover how we do the gravel and build the curved platforms in a future episode. Platform 3 at Bexhill West was completely overgrown by the end of the line. I'm not sure what we'll do there. Maybe I'll plant cress. I've had some interesting feedback around my laser cut bits and pieces, and one or two people are asking whether I produce them commercially. I don't, but that's definitely something that I'm looking into. So if you see anything, it takes your fancy and you think there might be a demand for it, then please let me know. I'd be interested to find out whether there's any potential for me to get something set up to start producing these for others. Alternatively, I might just share the drawings online somewhere and people can download them and do what they wish with them. That's all to come in future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Hold on, I've just thought of something. Whilst I was editing the musical segment together, I had to chop out half of the song, and I quite like the piece of music. So, as a kind of bonus, I'm going to play the rest of the music now and show a little slideshow of some of the things we can expect to see coming on the channel very soon. I hope you enjoy it. See you soon.